is Bold TV.
A very good morning to you, our viewers, and welcome to another episode of Bold TV, brought to you by Bold Heart Initiative. In case you don't know, BOLD is the acronym for Beautiful, Outstanding Ladies with Disabilities. This program comes your way every Saturday at 10 a.m. on our Facebook and YouTube channels. Please do well to share the link with your friends and family and loved ones, especially women and girls with disabilities who will benefit, who stands to benefit from this important program. We are also open to your contributions, especially financial contributions, and you can also be our guest on the program if you're interested in sharing your experiences or your ideas with women with disabilities. You can do this by contacting us on the links, our email address, or contacting any of the hosts on the program today. Remember that girls with disabilities, experience intersectional issues, challenges, and discriminations. And on Bold Heart TV, we try to look at these issues holistically and find and provide a support system and network for these women to assist them overcome some of these challenges that they face in their day-to-day life. Today's episode, we are considering the essential topic of mental health and self-care. You will agree with me that living a life with a disability often comes with various challenges. And we are here this morning to remind you that as a woman with a disabilities, notwithstanding these challenges, you have all that it takes. You possess the incredible strength, the resilience, and the capacity to live a healthy and a fulfilling life. I am Florence Marcus, and with me this morning are other bold ladies who are here to join in the conversation. Ladies, can you kindly introduce yourselves?
Good morning, beautiful people. My name is Afyong Etem, and I am a member of Bold Hearts Initiative. I am also a co-host on Bold TV. I'm a medical lab scientist. I'm based in Wiko in Akwa Ibom State, and I use a wheelchair from spinal cord injury. It's good to be here.
Thank you very much, Florence. Good morning, beautiful people. It's another beautiful Saturday in the life of mankind. My name is Oluwatomi Adeyefa. I'm a broadcast journalist, amongst other things. I'm also a gender and disability rights advocate, a visually impaired person who is based in Abeokuta, the Ogun State's capital. Thank you for having me.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Reki Andrew Essien. I am based in Port Harcourt in River State, the Idiot Baker Foundation, a member of Bold Heart Initiative. I use a wheelchair for spinal cord injury. Hello.
Ooh, oh my God. This is really bold ladies. We are all bold people, honestly. Listening to you all introduce yourself, I'm just blown away. I feel like a little girl here right now. So I'm here to listen to you and your experiences. My name is Vivian Uzawa. I currently live in the UK. I'm an above the knee amputee. I'm a support worker here in the UK. What am I? I'm a mother. I have two sons. I had my two sons with, my amputation. And I heard a lot of stories on all those things. Maybe one day we'll talk about them, as you are not new to them. But I'm just here. Back in Lagos, I worked with the Radio Foundation and Feet of Grace Foundation. So that's just basically who I am, Vivian, an amputee, a bold one at that.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me here.
Thank you, Vivian. We are glad to have you this morning. So we'll just go straight into the conversation. Like I mentioned earlier, that our topic is mental health and self-care. We want to ensure that every woman with disability, is able to take care of herself. And we want to know exactly what mental health is, Is it that the absence of any form of disease at all? So you're going to hear a lot about this in the conversation today. And we'll also look at the unique challenges that women with disabilities face. So my first question is, and I direct this question to Oluwatomisin, what are the unique challenges faced by women with disabilities in maintaining mental health and self-care? Before you go into the question, if you have anything to say about mental health, you can also use the opportunity to say that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. First, we'll need to lay a foundation, like you said, about what mental health and self-care to a woman with disability is all about. So your mental health is purely your state of mind, your emotional well-being, your we have this is when we say IQ means your intelligence quotient, while your EQ means your emotional quotient. And so that part of you, take it away from you being brilliant, being intelligent, that part of you that allows your intelligence to also function, that allows you to be human, that allows you to be vulnerable or not vulnerable, is your mental health. So it could be good, it could be a bad one, and it could just be in between. And so for every woman with disability, for you to achieve that level of success, that level of well-being, you must be emotionally stable. You must be emotionally fine. You must be able to look at yourself and say, oh, I am okay mentally. I am okay in my emotions. I'm okay in my thoughts and actions. Because if you are not okay there, it will transcend into all your other activities and disrupt them one after the other. So it's good to maintain a very high level of emotional health, a very high level of mental health status as a woman with disabilities. We cannot take away the fact that being a woman with disability comes with a whole lot of baggage. Let me put it that way. You have discrimination, you have stereotypes, you have societal norms to deal with. If you have religion, you have ethics, you have culture, you have quite a whole lot to deal with. Even personal acceptance is another thing you can be dealing with as a woman with disability. So all of these things put together, if one is not careful, you find out that things will get to you very quickly, things will slow you down very quickly, and you will not be the best that you ought to be, especially in this time when we are talking about investing in yourself. And when you're investing in yourself, when your mental health is top-notch, regardless of what is going on around you, you're caring for yourself. In this part of the world, we do not like to say, oh, you need to see a psychologist, you need to see a therapist, you need to go to the hospital. Some of us don't even want to admit when we are sick. We say, oh, I am strong, instead of actually saying I am sick, I am not well. So it means that a whole lot of stigma also evolves around discussions of mental health. And especially when you now bring it down to women, I've seen people who will tell you that, do you people think? You people should not be thinking. Now, do you even have things that are going on your mind? So the society assumes that because of your disability, you shouldn't have things going on your mind. You shouldn't have things bothering you. You shouldn't have anyone getting on your nerves, so to speak. So it's a whole lot of conversation. And I feel that just like we are talking about it now, it is very important for every woman with disability out there to take their mental health very seriously.
Thank you for that contribution. Remember, we have just little time for this conversation today, so please keep your answers brief. Thank you for that robust contribution. Afyong, do you have anything to contribute on this? While you look at just look at the challenges, since Oluwatomisin has taken time to explain what mental health and self-care means for a woman with disabilities, can you mention one or two challenges that women with disabilities face?
I think women, one of the unique challenges is access. Lack of access to healthcare, quality healthcare when it comes to mental health. And that is often linked to, number one, a lack of awareness of what is available to them. And also a lack of awareness on the part of the healthcare providers of how to deal with this particular subset of the population when it comes to mental health. When you go to hospitals, more often than not, it's difficult for most people don't know what to do for a person with disabilities or with disability, because they feel that, sometimes, like we've often said here, sometimes you're not even seen as a full human being. And so most times they feel they are confused. They don't know what to do unless they are actually taught. So it's a problem. So access is a problem. Even for people who are without disabilities, mental health is not a very popular topic due to the stereotypes and the misconceptions surrounding it. And so for persons with disabilities, your disability is already more or less like you're not, a normal, in quotes, human being. And so they don't even consider it to them. It's like, your own is already a mental case. So why do we even need to do anything extra? So that access is a problem. And then another thing is low sensitization. Low sensitization, most people don't know, that they need, as much as they take care of their physical bodies, they also need to take care of their mind. They don't even recognize what is going on. Many of us have issues with, negative thoughts. We have issues with a lot of self-limiting belief systems that we may not even recognize that is affecting us as persons with disabilities, either because of the disability or due to other forms of trauma. And so without that sensitization and, awareness about it, it can be difficult to deal with mental health issues in addition to disability.
Okay, thank you. Vivian, would you want to say something just shortly before?
Yes, briefly, I would just want to talk about back home, like in Nigeria. I've not left Nigeria for too long. I left Nigeria just last year, so a lot of things are still very fresh in my head. One of the challenges I will talk about is transportation challenges. The country is not built in a way, or nobody is even listening or talking about persons with disability. Nobody is even interested. Hospitals are not even built considering persons with disability. Schools are not even built. Even the private schools in Nigeria, they don't recognize that a little child can, with disability, how can this child access the school? And sometimes when you take children to them, they say, oh, we don't have the capacity to take care of these children. So transportation, I'm even going away. Transportation, there's no measure for persons with disability to, move from one point to another. It's a very wide one, but I just want to leave it short because you have said we don't have so much time.
Okay, thank you. Freki, would you want to talk about the misconceptions and stigma surrounding mental health and disability and how this constitutes a challenge to women with disabilities?
All right, thank you for the question. So with respect to misconceptions, the misconceptions that shroud issues around mental health are really tied to the fact that the average person, at least on the African continent, is deeply spiritual. And anything that is not well understood is tied to spiritual undertones, cultural undertones. And with mental health, as opposed to maybe a physical disability or a sensory disability, that you could tie it to something obvious or tangible. Mental health has to do with the mind and things like that. So people now accrue the concerns of mental health to spirituality, cultural biases, and things like that. So it's very difficult to convince even the average person that this is not a spiritual matter, that even when it's not, even when an issue can be sorted out, in the medical sector per se, with just a little bit of either therapy or maybe medication that is routine. There's this disbelief that it can really be so. Another misconception I know is that people tend to think that mental health issues, once it's there, no matter how the person appears or seems to be highly functional, that the thing is still there somehow. They don't believe that anybody can be highly or function highly because of a mental challenge. So the misconceptions, what they end up doing is that they affect how persons with mental health challenges are treated. And in other words, it also forms a barrier to getting the needed help, as it were, for persons who have a mental challenge or a mental disability, especially women. And then the other issue when it comes to our gender is the issue of it to transmit it to now be in our family line, those kind of things. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for that. And when you were saying that, I just thought of how people sometimes associate even mental health with disability or with lunacy. That's why even the government in Nigeria, what we had before the Mental Health Act that was passed last year, what we had was the Lunacy Act. And everyone with mental health issues, even issues like depression and all of that, were considered to be serious issues that the person will have to go to a psychiatrist. And the stereotype and the stigma attached to that, without considering the fact that everyone can be a victim of mental health depending on the state. But it's just sometimes also the period that this mental health would last. It could be just depression that with time the person would get over it with the necessary help. Then for persons with disabilities, like all of us have mentioned here, is the fact that people just feel like they don't give you the environment is not really conducive for persons with disability to access the necessary help, to access the necessary care. And I also believe that the discrimination that persons with disabilities encounter, the stereotypes, also contribute in affecting their mental health. Because when you have issues like that, they will affect you both psychologically, they affect you emotionally. And some of these disabilities themselves come with issues that affect you, that the psychosocial issues, that you need the necessary support to be able to overcome them. But without that support, it may degenerate to issues that may be difficult for one to be able to maintain. For instance, a person who had experienced a traumatic amputation, that person needs counseling, that person needs rehabilitation. And the lack of counseling and rehabilitation for persons with disabilities is really affecting their mental health. We have seen the challenges, what mental health is, the challenges and how it affects women with disabilities. So we want to come up with practical strategies on how to cope with this mental health. Can you suggest some coping mechanisms for women with disabilities, how they can manage these mental health related issues like stress, anxiety, depression, and the likes in their daily lives? Oluwatomisin, you want to go first?
Okay. It's all right. I'll mention two. And the first I would want to talk about is finding time for yourself, finding a me time. It's easy for us to want to do so many things at the same time. You want to prove to the world that, there is ability in disability. You want to show them that I can do it. And so you put yourself out there, you push yourself hard, forgetting that your emotional state of well-being also needs to rest. You need to take things slowly. So finding a me time, finding something that would interest you in those mean times. If it is sleep, if it is, having friends over, if it is going out visiting, sightseeing, just find something to do for yourself to take your mind off a whole lot of things. And then the second suggestion, coping mechanism I want to suggest is a psychosocial support group. Even the Bible made us realize that we should not neglect the gathering of each other, one another, of brotherhood and sisterhood, as it were. So find a common group where you can talk about these issues, where you can share experiences. There are quite a whole lot of them on social media right now that, those groups keep your mind off a lot of things. You come, you share laughter, you share experiences, you celebrate each other. It's quite a whole lot, just like Bold Heart Initiative is also, we have the Bold Heart on WhatsApp, on Facebook. So do not isolate yourself as a woman with a disability. Join support groups. Let them know you. Speak to someone in those groups. Keep friendship, maintain relationships. And that way you are able to cope with a whole lot of mental issues. Thank you.
Thank you. Vivian, can you give us just one or two coping mechanisms?
Yeah, thank you. I will just personalize it on how I coped. I have been coping. So one of the major things I did for myself was to look at the things I love doing and buried myself in them. I love making money. So I looked for every business I could do to make money, not minding what anybody says or what anybody thinks, because I have accepted that this is me. And I don't want anybody to tell me that, this is you. No, I know who I am. So So I just said, I love to make money. I love to be productive financially. And I soaked myself. I did all sorts of business. I baked, I cooked, I grilled, I did supplies, I did everything. And because I was doing that, my family didn't see me as, oh, I was a burden to anyone. My church members, because I don't really have much circle of friends, is my family and mostly church. You know, my church members, church people saw me being very productive, and it comes with a lot of comments, oh, if she with her leg can do it, you can do it. That's a side. But those were the things that helped me cope. Then I also put myself in a department in church. I love to sing, so I just focused on singing. So I think if you find that thing that makes you happy and, hold on to it, work on it and focus on it, it will help to relieve some of the challenges of, mental health, depression, anxiety, and all that. Because when the mind is busy, when the mind is occupied positively, more often than not, you don't find yourself, getting depressed. That does not mean that I have not been depressed at some time, but it helps. So I will encourage people, ladies, to find that thing that makes you happy, and you can get away with it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I also agree with you that you should find something doing. Some time ago, I felt my mind was just drifting away and I was troubled. And I was just wondering, okay, what do I do? I started knitting. So I got wool and I got knitting pins. I was just happy, learning new patterns. And that was distracting me from all the pressure that I had. So it's good to find something doing, something that you like to. There are a lot of things you can do something new. Frecky, you want to say? Frecky, do you want to contribute to them?
Okay, coping strategies. I would say a powerful coping strategy is set, short-term goals. Nothing big. An example is what Florence had just said. While she found that her mind was drifting, focusing on a bit of negatives, she decided to use her mind instrumentally. And one of the ways I have found that helps is just give yourself a task and focus on it. There's no wasted learning opportunity. Another coping strategy I would say is do not exclude yourself. Interact with other people. So be intentional about going out. That's what I'm saying. I know that when it comes to physical disability, it could be expensive, but there's nothing like going and sitting down somewhere and drinking the Coke instead of drinking it inside your house and observing people. It's an interesting person. And then interpret your mind what maybe they're doing. It's just, some small things. Another one is read novels. Try to read novels. Novels are good, or biographies. I mean, the world is at your fingertips. And somebody had mentioned, I think Vivian, for me, a powerful coping is music. Music is internal. They say the angels are made of music, and I'm made of music inside my body. So I need it a lot of times to center me. So music is a good one. Thank you. Oh yes, and then if you are among those that like traveling or have not traveled, also you see, I just have that right there. So you can travel.
Thank you for sharing this strong and I want to also emphasize on the issue of reading. There is power in reading, and a lot of information is buried in books. When you are reading, I thought Vivian would say that. I visited her once and I saw how she reads every night before she sleeps, and her children must read 2 chapters every night. So by the time you are committed to that, look for something that you are interested in. If it's a biography, read about someone that you're interested in. Probably that will help with the issues that you are confronting. I know that Affion wants to say this. I would have gone to the final question, but I know that she has something to share with us. Just one.
Thank you. After the yab that somebody has just yabbed, we will travel. Just leave this city, we will go somewhere. Let's begin to money small. Anyway, another thing is journaling is very important. Writing, getting those thoughts away from your head onto paper, it gives you a different perspective. That thing that seems like there's a storm going on in your head. Just get a pen and paper and begin to write out exactly what's going on inside your head. You realize that when you look at what you're writing, take those thoughts out, it leaves, it declutters your mind, and at the same time, it makes you feel lighter. And when you go through it, you find out that some of those thoughts were irrational. It's not something you should really be worried about. It can, it clarifies, it kind of gives you clarity and also gives you a different perspective. And another thing I would say is, depending on your kind of anxiety or depressive disorder you may have, for some people, if it's an ongoing or persistent or recurring thing, you might think about getting help, professional help. I know it's not something that is very common. It's not something that's popular, because they think when you go and see a psychologist, you don't kolo. You have not kolo. Everybody has kolo. But if you see that your own level of kolo is beginning to go to gear 1, just carry yourself, package yourself, and get help. Help yourself. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Get help. Just talking to somebody and getting a different perspective. That person helps you to gain clarity. And like you say, oh, when I sleep, it's like I'm going to die. The person will not tell you, okay, why exactly you feel like you're dying? By the time that interaction goes on, you'll be surprised that, why am I even thinking like this? It helps you to gain clarity, and over time you find yourself healing, and you may discover where the root cause of those thoughts is coming from. Some of them may be trauma you have dealt with. So get professional help.
Thank you so much, Afyong. Some years ago, I started keeping a thank you book. Not really truly a journal as such, but every night before I sleep, I try to remember the things that happened, both the good and the seemingly bad, and just thank God for them. I thank God for that person that was rude to me today, that it has helped me to learn patience. I thank God for some things. I went back to read my thank you book, just recently, the one for 2014. And I realized a lot of incredible things that I wouldn't have remembered if not that I read them. And I was able to relate them to my present situation. So just, if you feel you don't have a lot to say, just thank God for one thing or just 2 or 3 things that happened that day. And it will help you when you go back to look at it. You'll be able to track your journey, and you see how a lot of the things that are seemingly bad has been transformed for your growth. Thank you. And finally, we all know that women with disabilities are always saddled with the demands for family, taking care of a home and children, for people like Vivian and Oluwatomisi, and then responsibilities at work and other things. How can these women, in the midst of all of these responsibilities and demands, how can we prioritize self-care and also maintain an overall well-being? Please, shortly, because just briefly, because our time is fast spent.
Who do you want to go first?
You can go first.
Let me just say, I think I always say that you make time for what's important to you. If you think it's important, you will make time for it. If you consider yourself, you value yourself, and you place premium value on yourself, you will prioritize self-care. You will set aside that time. Like Tomisi mentioned, me time. You will set aside that time. I know a parenting coach that says that it's not about things balancing, that there's nothing like balance. So balance is an illusion. It's essentialism. Consider what is essential. Rearrange your priorities. There are some things you may have to let go of. We like being busy. Women, you see us. I don't know where they swore for women. We like being busy. It's as if you're not doing anything in this whole world, I don't know where they gave award for suffer ahead. So we have to learn how to do soft-care life. Prioritize yourself. Like you said, whatever it is that rocks your boat, whether it's to go and sit down and gist somewhere, do it. Whether it's to go and just sit outside and be looking at how cars, what we used to do when we were small, counting the cars and the colors and claiming them, even when we know it. Go and sit down, count people passing on the road. It will amaze you what it does for your mental health. Just admiring the simple things, taking time to, enjoy the simple things, go for a walk. So it doesn't break the bank, it doesn't cost you anything except making out time. And you will do it if it's important to you. That's all I can say.
Okay, thank you. Vivian? You are muted.
Really? Can you hear me now?
Yes, you can hear me.
Okay, for me, it's love yourself. Like Effiong just said, we like to walk, cook, do. Love yourself. If you love yourself, you see how you make time for the things you love. That's how it is when you love yourself. Once you love yourself, come out and say, have a dream of how you want to look tomorrow. That's one thing I love about myself. If I'm going somewhere, I learned to love myself. I just have a dream of how I want myself to be. And that's it. love myself. When I come back home and see the whole place is scattered and I'm tired, I'll just go upstairs and have my bath and chill. I don't need to start shouting. No, love yourself. You have to love yourself. Take care of yourself. If you don't love yourself, there's nothing you can do. For me, it has helped. I wasn't like that initially. I learned to, love myself. So when I love myself, every other thing, going for a walk, going out with friends, going out to, do any other thing, will fall in place because I created time for that because I love myself. So I think that's, for me, that's what it is.
Thank you. Frankie, I know you are doing a lot, but you're always looking radiant. And yes, and I believe that all the viewers, all the followers of Bold TV would have been admiring you. So they would like to know, how do you cope with, you are preparing for purple, you are walking, you're doing this and that, even with your purple hair, you're just radiant.
Oh my gosh. So yes, one of the things I do, I like younger, I like to make guy. So so you can't catch me darling at all. I like shakara. So head to toe. So from head to toe, I like shoes, I like hair, I like everything. I like looking nice because I believe that when you look nice, you can discomfort people. People will now think of how they want to address you. First of all, you present yourself, people would greet themselves before they start writing you off and things like that. So I'm intentional about how I look. I'm also intentional about how I speak. I ensure that I bring a lot to the table, and it has a way of boosting my self-confidence and helping me mentally. And I think another one is I don't have too many friends, but the friends I keep around me are people that will tell me the truth. So I have friends who would, because I forget that. And so I have friends that have the power to ground me. Like go and rest. So I have this kind of people around me. I've given them power to insist that I go and I shut down. So sometimes they'll go, have you done this today? And I'm like, oh. So that helps me. So yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me pick it from that part where Vivian said, you're coming home and you see everywhere scattered. As a woman, that thing is very easy to get to you, coupled with the stress you're coming in from outside. So I would say that you learn to breathe. Yeah, before I was a mother, I used to want everything sparkling. But as time goes by and I have people around, I have a daughter who will not just scatter, but will scatter and rescatter. So I had to sometimes I just have to take my eyes off it and allow her scatter. And then probably at night when I'm, all alone, she's asleep, I do the arranging again. And that way it takes a whole lot of pressure off you as a woman. So you just need to learn to close your eyes to certain things, close your mind to certain things. It's not because you do not care, but you want a very good state of mind for yourself. Another thing I would say is be intentional about seeing a doctor or a professional. I mean, it's good that we are having this conversation now. A lot of us, when we have issues, I'll be fine. The Lord is my strength. Yeah, I know the Lord is your strength. I know the Lord is everybody's strength. But when you need to see a professional, either a psychologist, either a medical doctor, or any other kind of professional as a woman, do not pack it all in. See a professional. Also, be intentional about taking care of yourself. Place premium value on yourself. See, there are times where I send my kid out there, like, take her away, I need to sleep, I need to rest, I need to make a phone call. It's as simple as that. So be intentional about, doing things. Because at the end of the day, you need yourself to be able to cater for every other person around you. Surround yourself with positive energy. As a woman with disabilities, it's easy for us to get negative vibes. You have people who tell you, oh, you can't do it, or why don't you do it like this? They are looking at you with your child and they are wondering if you can actually mother that child, or you can actually take care of that child. So surround yourself with people that would encourage you, people that would, support you all through the journey. And that, I feel, will help, deal with mental health conditions easily.
Thank you very much. Our viewers, you would agree with me that today's episode very instructive. Please take this point to heart. Be intentional in taking care of yourself, your mental health. Don't live in self-denial. If you feel that it's becoming too difficult for you to manage on your own, seek for professional help. And like Frankie said, dress the way you want to be addressed. Take good care of yourself. Look good. Eat well. Maintain a good balanced diet. Don't allow depression, throw you into eating too many things and, gaining weight that you will not be able to manage, especially with disability. Don't allow anything disturb your mind too much. Have a very good support and keep good friends. Stay safe and keep loving yourself until we come your way next week, same time and same platforms, our Facebook page and the YouTube channel. God bless you. Bye.
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 Ciao.
This is Bold TV.